what does this mean? I'm being made redundant. I'm so young, and oh my God, it just felt like the end of the world. But looking back on that, I think that what an experience to have at such a young age and at early stage in my career, because now it's taught me that it wasn't the end of the world. It wasn't, I was able to go on and get another job. It taught me resilience. It taught me to get through a hard situation, and I was okay at the end of it. I still was able to pay my bills. I still was able to do everything.
Meet Emma Youell, the multi-award-winning creative whose work has lit up BBC News, ITV, and Sky News. Since graduating in 2013, Emma has mastered the art of storytelling through motion, creating everything from viral social promos to stunning event graphics. As a finalist in the Kent Creative Awards, her talent speaks volumes. Join us for this intimate conversation where food meets design as we dive into Emma's creative journey and discover the stories behind her remarkable success.
I'm curious how you get in this industry.
So how I got into motion graphics, I actually didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do motion graphics. I grew up and I was very into drawing. So I was just drawing all the time as a kid, really into graphic design. And I was like, yeah, okay, go through school. I want to do art. I want to do graphic design. I want to do drawing. And then when I went to uni, I applied for graphic design, and they actually turned around and said, we haven't got a place for you on the graphic design course because it's full. So I was like, oh, okay. And they said, but we've got a place on motion graphics if you want to do that. And I was like, what's motion graphics? What is that? I don't even know what that is. So, I did a little bit of research and was like, oh, it's graphic design, but moving. So it's still design, but in a moving format. And I was like, okay, I'll give that a go. And that is how I kind of fell into this basket of motion graphics. Completely didn't choose it, and went on to study it at university, did my 3 years, come out of it and got a job straight away. And I've been doing it ever since for probably like 10 years.
10 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's been a long journey, but I still love what I do. So that's good.
Yeah, that's good. It's interesting because we are creators.
Yes.
And you like to see the result.
Yeah.
And the reaction.
That's the best part of the journey of a project, right? You go from finding out what the client wants, building it. That's the tough part, because you're kind of seeing the skin and bones without it being like finalized and out there. But once it is finalized and out there, and wherever it's meant to be, whether it's on YouTube or the client's website or something, that's when you're like, I made that. I'm proud of that. Like, does the client love it? Yes. And that's a really great part.
What project is the best project what you had?
I have a lot.
Not the latest one.
Yeah, no, I have quite a lot of favorite projects. Well, I have 2 projects which for me were like incredible to work on. So one, when I was actually employed by the Bank of England, we got to make a film about the gold that's in their gold vaults. So, the public don't know a lot about the gold, but basically there's vaults underneath the Bank of England that hold bars of gold. And we were able to go into the vaults with cameras, film the gold, and then produce like a 3-series infographic, like animation on the history of gold, why the Bank of England has gold. And I can't remember the third one, but that was incredible. It
is one of the stories saying they're storing gold for other countries.
Yeah.
Because Romania have gold in it.
Yeah. So like that, the Bank of England, all of the gold in there is other countries' gold. Like they store it for other countries. I'm pretty sure that Bank of England sold, or not Bank of England specifically, but the government, whoever was in charge, sold off most of the UK's gold. So I think most of it is American. But like when you go in there, you see the stamps on the gold. Like the gold bars are like this big.
1 kilo.
And they're very, very heavy. They're like 13 kilos for a bar.
Ooh.
Yeah, really heavy. And each bar is like stamped with like the marks and stuff. So you can look at it and be like, that's an American bar or whatever. And that's from the Federal Reserve. But we're storing it. The Bank of England was storing it. So that was an incredible project to work on, because there was, each bar of gold back then was worth probably about £350,000 each bar. And there's stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks.
Pallets.
Yeah, there was pallets on pallets and pallets. So going in there, filming that and making a series about gold was amazing.
Wow.
Was amazing.
That's amazing. I'm just thinking how much gold it is. What did you learn from this experience?
That gold is more orange. Like when the vault door opens and you see it all shining in there, like the pure gold bars, it's just for that moment it is breathtaking. Because oh my God, I can't even like just describe it as that, but yeah, the door opens, you're like, wow, it is literally like something from a film, just all this bright yellow gold.
Did you ever think to own a bar?
No, I mean the amount of security, like to get in there and get out of there.
No, not to steal, to own, to buy one.
No, I'm not really like. My hobby is metal detecting. So,
okay.
I often search for gold in the fields. Actually, 2 weeks ago, I found a gold coin. So
nice.
Yeah.
Like Kim Riggs.
Yes, she's like a really good friend of mine, and we go out metal detecting together.
All right,
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
She didn't tell me.
Well, there you go. So no, I messaged Kim yesterday. I was like, I'm going on Marian's podcast, and she was like, you're going to have an amazing time. So yeah, occasionally we go out metal detecting together, and we find stuff, and that's where I find the gold and stuff. So I find it in the fields.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And that kind of links into my second favourite project. So
okay.
When I left full-time employment, that was 2 years ago, I started my business of the animation, which I do now. When I left, I said, the one thing I would love, my ultimate dream project would be to make a animation that goes into a museum. And when I left, I got a job for Suffolk Archaeology, and they had basically discovered the site of an Anglo-Saxon hall, where a great hall, and it's around the corner from Sutton Hoo, if you know what Sutton Hoo is, like one of the most famous archaeological sites in the UK. And I made this video about what this Anglo-Saxon hall would have looked like in Anglo-Saxon times. So I drew all these characters. I animated a little village of like farmers walking around, soldiers walking around, warriors and all that sort of stuff. And then that was then chosen to be displayed at Sutton Hoo. And when that happened, I was only a couple months into being self-employed and starting my own business. And I was like, I've done it already. Like I've done my dream piece of work. And it's gone into that. So archaeology and metal detecting kind of comes hand in hand.
Yes.
So to have a hobby that's really into history, and then to actually create an animation based on history, which then went into a museum, it was incredible.
That's amazing. I like this part of history.
Yeah.
To discover things,
Yeah.
even treasures. What is your next goal now? Because you already achieved one.
Yeah. More of it. Like,
okay.
A lot of my clients, because of my background, where I worked in-house in the City of London, I worked for the Bank of England, I worked for other financial services. A lot of banks still come to me for work, so I still produce a lot of financial-based animation. So the dream now is to kind of, get my CRM built properly and put in loads of contacts and leads, hopefully for more historic businesses. So that, that is the goal, to produce more history-based animation for like museums and stuff like that, because I love it. That history side of stuff really interests me. So to produce work on that, I'd love it.
Yeah. I want now to take a break and eat.
It smells good.
Yeah. Unfortunately, what I ordered first time, it didn't arrive, they cancel it. And I ordered from a Greek place. I think it's called Greek Bites from Chancellor.
Fab.
Yeah. I ordered here some chips.
Chips, fries,
yes, with oregano.
Oh, that looks good. Yes. This might be a little messy. Rip it, I think.
Yes. the salad.
It looks good.
I need to show to the camera.
Don't know where to start.
Yes. And onions. I like onions.
I love onions. So good. Thank you.
Oh, it's very delicious. Usually, I ask people about what is your favorite food.
It's quite difficult for me to answer, I think. Like, I'd say I was quite a foodie, so do like a lot of food. I have a favourite restaurant. The food they serve is kind of like American food.
Okay.
But the restaurant is called Smith & Weston, and inside the restaurant it's all themed, like cowboy themed. And I love it. The food there is always really, really good. The drinks are good. Service is good. And you just always have a good time when you go to this restaurant. My favourite type of food, though, like, I just love all food. Give me something absolutely delicious and I'm just like, yes, love it.
On the way here, I think I saw 3 American diners.
Wow.
And I want to make a video going there to see how it is. I'm just thinking the size of the portion, what is in American restaurant. It's like a big size.
The Smith & Weston restaurant, they're just like, they do big portions, like, but it's not expensive. So it's like really affordable. So you get really good value.
Okay.
So I feel like I don't really eat at a lot of American diners, but I always want to go there.
I know the American pizza, it's big.
Yeah.
I like Chicago pizza.
Chicago town pizza. Love a bit of pizza. The best pizza I've ever had was in central London.
Okay.
It's from a restaurant called Pizza East. And oh, I love it. It's in Shoreditch. And if you haven't been, I recommend you go. The pizzas, they're flat-based pizzas, so they're thin pizzas, but the toppings are absolutely delicious. So they do things like full cream with like chilies and broccoli and chicken and all sorts of like unique stuff, but the taste is amazing.
At the moment, I didn't find anything better than the people who support me. Nero Pizza, it's a pizza from Barnsley, Doncaster, is a franchise.
Okay.
I love everything what they're doing. Even have a volcanic place with gyros. It's how I discovered them, basically.
Wow.
I went for a gyros and it was so good, that gyros. It was different than this one.
Okay.
Because the chips, it wasn't inside, it was outside.
So the gyros that I've ever had have always had chips in. When we had them in Athens, they definitely had chips in as well. But I suppose, each restaurant does things differently, so it's what makes a restaurant unique.
Yes. And what kind of food do you recommend people to eat? At least once in their lifetime.
Restaurants in your lifetime. So if you're going to go to London and you're a creative, there's this restaurant that it has loads of different rooms, and each room is a different theme, and it's called Sketch, and it's an amazing restaurant, and you need to go there to experience it, but it's a little bit on the expensive side because it's quite fancy, but you need to do it at least, like, try it once in your life, to go and just try the food, see the rooms, because they are like, one of them is like a scene from the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Okay.
Like, it's all pink. Everything is like, it's just amazing. It just looks so beautiful, like from the Grand Budapest Hotel film. And it's just stunning. And even when you go to the bathroom, all of the toilet cubicles are egg-shaped. So,
that's weird.
Yeah, so it's like one cubicle will stand on its own and it's like a giant egg. And you walk in, that's the bathroom, and then, you're inside a massive egg. And it's very unusual, but I recommend it for anyone to go and try.
So we have nice gyros.
Yes, very nice.
Yes. We still have some chips.
Yeah.
left.
Well, there was chips inside, so and an extra portion of chips. So that's quite a lot of chips.
That's me. I said maybe they're not enough.
You can have those ones then.
Yes. I want to ask if you had any project which you didn't like.
Yeah, a few times. The thing that's make me dislike a project is when the client wants 100 revisions on it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm always happy to work on a project. It all, looks nice, it's great, but the client, they're not quite sure what they want out of it. So they end up asking for one thing, you make it, and then they're kind of like, nah, that doesn't work for us. Let's try it another way. So you end up making something else. And then they're like, no. We thought we wanted that, but we don't want that anymore. We want this. So, but each of those revisions costs them money. So they're aware of that. But when it gets into like 15 revisions of an animation, you're a little bit like, come on, guys, it's time we sort of wrap this up. So it's those projects which become a little bit like, whoa, I just want to get it done. But then obviously once it is done, the client's really happy. You've got a product that they love. So you're like, okay, great. It's done. They love it, out the door. But there's not really been a project that I've hated. If I hate a project that much before I've even started it, I won't do it.
Yeah. I work at newspaper like a graphic designer.
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to design these fancy ads on the newspaper. And after I spend a lot of time doing it, I say, but I want to change the text.
Yeah. I get that.
And there are those bits of the text which you need a lot of extra work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've also had it in situations where I produce a video, it's taken like 6 rounds of amendments, the client's really happy, and then like it's meant to be played at an event or something,
Okay.
And then the CEO of the company is like, no, we're not going to play the video anymore. So it just gets shelved and it gets put on a shelf and it's never seen. So that gets a little frustrating. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, I've done the job. It can go on my website occasionally if it's not confidential, for the company. But that can be frustrating as well. So that happens.
Oh, yes. I think I saved some of my work. I think even the newspaper doesn't have my work anymore. They had an accident with the server.
Oh, so they lost everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Even the templates which I create.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. But yeah, like a graphic designer for that newspaper and a layout manager, basically, for 5 years.
That's good. That's a
Yes.
good amount of time. Did you enjoy it?
Yes, but sometimes it was very hard.
Okay.
Just because the redactors, the reporters, they didn't do their job in time.
Mm-hmm.
And I supposed to finish everything
Still, like, so
with the deadline.
I get this as well. So this happens to me for animation. You get a deadline, right? So say the deadline's on the 5th of March. You are supposed to be sent the assets. In your case, it will be the article. In my case, it might be the artwork that they want animated by a certain date. And it gets later and later and later. And your date doesn't move. Your date's still the 5th. But they're like not delivering until the day before now. Whereas, if they delivered it on time, you might have had 5 days to work on it. Whereas they deliver it late and you've got half a day to edit it and get it out.
Yeah,
I get that.
Like in my case, basically, the deadline is supposed to be when I send it to print. The newspaper.
Yeah.
What do you think is your biggest achievement?
So my biggest achievement in the motion graphics industry, in the job that I currently work in, is probably doing the museum animation that I mentioned before, because that was my dream, to produce a piece of content for a museum when I went self-employed. That was an incredibly proud moment for me. But going back a few more years, if I was to say something that I'm also felt like incredibly lucky to be a part of, not really motion graphics, but when I was a trainee, I got the chance to be a runner on a production company. And the company at the time was filming the 2012 London Olympics. So
Okay.
I got a special pass and everything, and I was runner of their TV production crew when they filmed the opening and closing ceremonies. So it was an amazing experience. Like, I was in the rooms below the Olympic Stadium, seeing them cut live the TV production that was broadcasting to everybody watching it of the opening and then the closing of the Olympic Games. And being part of the production crew, although I was a runner at the time, it was an adrenaline fueled experience, and one that I look back on now and I'm like, that was incredible.
I'm just thinking about the part to do the live things because it's a lot of work.
Yeah. They had like a lot of staff. Obviously they've got all the cameramen out in the field filming all of the dancers and all of the acrobatics and everything that's going on. They've got the crew, the tech crew, setting everything up, and then they've got everyone in the suite. They've got the director on, like, I've had to do some deliveries between, like, running hard drives around as well. So, I went into the suite and he's like, cameraman one, move to the left. And it's like, you can see the guy moving to the left as he's directing him, and it's all live. So everyone's like quite on edge because everything needs to be right. There can't be anything wrong. So it was a high pace, high adrenaline fueled, but it was an amazing experience for me back then because I was like a junior. Opened my eyes to what an incredibly fast-paced industry live TV was.
What did you learn from that experience?
It was a tough industry. TV, like live TV, working for live TV productions.
I think live it's quite heavy.
Yeah, I learned that it was a tough industry, and perhaps it wasn't the industry that I wanted to go into. Like, obviously I was learning motion graphics at uni at the time, so this was kind of a work experience placement for me. But it was like, okay, this is a lot of pressure. This is, high stakes. What am I more interested in doing? Being involved in productions, or do I want to do the post-production? Do I want to be doing the editing and the animation? And actually, from that, I did sort of switch in my brain. I was like, yeah, I want to be involved in the post-production rather than the production.
Yeah, that's a good choice. I did some live thing, and I was just part of it.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to be behind cameras.
Yeah.
And a lot of crazy stuff happened. Even the guy who controlled the camera, the sounds, even connect the phone calls, he didn't do a proper job.
Right.
He didn't use my cameras.
Yeah, okay.
And I was supposed to step in the front of camera.
Oh my God.
For the first time when I did that, I did well.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, live it's nerve-wracking. It is scary.
Yes.
Used to do some live streaming when I worked at the Bank of England, but it was mega, mega important to them because it was like the day they announced the interest rates. So like massively important in their world, in the financial world, like announcement of an interest rate change. And, we'd have to set up the cameras, and they've got this little room with the cameras already in, and they'd go and sit at a table, and, head of the Bank of England sit down, and he's got his people there as well. And my team, me as well, we'd have to live stream that to the press. So, all of the press are watching it because they want to then put it in the newspapers or in the online news. And we have to make sure that is smooth, like no lip sync delay. The camera picture's got to look great. We've got to press start on time. We've got to make sure you can hear them, like they're mic'd up, everything's perfect. And that was stressful.
Yeah, I know. The thing is, even on recording, it happens sometimes to forget to play record on the mixer. Or it stops.
It stops automatically.
Yeah, I don't know why, because of SD card. And that's why I use a laptop to record backup.
Yeah, okay.
Because it's better to be safe than...
Yeah, completely. It's better to have some, like you say, a backup, and then, just in case. Because if you've got nothing, you've got nothing.
Yeah. On the last episode which I record, I don't know what I did with the laptop. but at least I record on the other one.
Okay,
on the recorder.
So you had something.
Yeah, instead to record 1 hour and a half, how long it was that episode, I record 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Oh,
With the laptop. I
only
don't know.
1 minute.
I think by accident I stopped the
Might have
recording.
pressed it by accident. Do you reckon?
Yeah.
Strange.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Bugs.
Yes.
Blame the AI now.
No, AI helps. Look, this is crazy. I'm trying to get better on interview.
Yeah.
And because usually when I'm coming to Goal Circle on big business entrepreneurs, 3 hours, it's a long ride.
It is, yeah.
I'm talking with AI to address the question better.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
helping me to polish the question
Yeah, okay.
or to do the follow-ups question. I found it very interesting. Sometimes I will be the guest and interview me. Sometimes he stops, but I need to ask, what is your next question?
Okay.
But it's quite interesting how you can improve yourself with the AI.
It actually blows my mind. AI.
Yes.
Very, very incredible in what it can achieve in the last few years. It's a little bit scary, I think, for my industry. I've seen it do incredible things, like, you know, it's now in After Effects and it has been for a little while, but the speed of now things that it can process, like extending the clip a little bit longer or generative fill. So, you know, people used to have to hand paint frame by frame. So if there was a mistake in the film, you know, they'd have to hand paint it out frame by frame to make sure it wasn't visible in the final video. But now you can literally just use the tool and boom, give it like maybe 15 minutes to process it and it's gone. And it's all done by AI. And that is amazing.
Yeah.
Love that.
I remember doing a masking tool
Yeah.
by hand.
Yeah.
And now,
You can just track it and it will just like figure it out all for you, which saves a ton of time and resources. And
even the tracking the room.
yeah.
I found that interesting because basically you can put an object on this table by tracking all the objects.
Yeah, it's so good. So AI in After Effects and Photoshop now, brilliant, saves so much time, very clever tools. But AI, some of the other stuff that AI is doing, also amazing, but very scary for a content creator, I feel, because there is a lot of people using it, and that's like to create animations. And I'm like, that's what I do. That's my job. And AI now is...
At least they're not producing properly.
No, exactly. So this is the argument. I love AI and it can improve your workflow. And I need to keep up to date with AI and the latest trends and how it can help me do my customization faster and more efficiently. If I don't learn the current AI trends, I'm going to fall behind because somebody else will learn that.
Yes, and then they're using...
Yeah, so I need to stay up to date with that. But I can also, I'm confident I can produce a better product than AI could. More customized product.
That's true, because sometimes I'm asking AI to do something, it's not even close.
Yeah.
AI is supposed to be a tool for you to get something easy made.
Yeah.
I think it's not going to be able to do the entire project.
Oh,
that's
no.
for sure.
Definitely not. There are lots and lots of different AI now to help you at every stage of the project. So whether it's making a script, making a storyboard, getting some ideas for images, and then also, you know, you can create little animations to sort of maybe give the client an example and say, you know, this isn't the product, but we can do something like this. Or they can use AI to send me a sample of what they like, and then I can be like, okay, here's how I can work with that, or here's what I can do to improve that, which AI won't be able to do. So it's about utilizing it to sort of get you to the place where then you can take that and be like, okay, here's now the cherry on the icing by me making the final product.
Yeah, I'm looking forward for AI to make a game.
Oh, okay.
I saw something which someone draw what he wants and the AI created.
This is where it blows my mind, because I'm like, how does AI do this? Because, you know, I'm like, oh yeah, but AI can't code, but then it can, because you can type in like, I want to like I want to do X, Y, Z, provide me the code, and it will give you the code.
Yeah.
So it can code. But I'm just like, how does it do that?
For AI, it's more easy to access information. For us, it's harder to store it.
Yeah.
I'm learning Python now.
Oh, gosh.
Yes, and I have a presentation next week.
No.
And I wanted to do this. Just imagine. And it's so hard just to remember all the functions. This is what I'm supposed to do next Wednesday to solve a problem.
Right.
And I'm so...
Is it like a test?
Yeah, a hackathon.
Oh, hackathon.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So what?
Yeah, I said yes, but we are going to have a hackathon. Now I'm not so sure.
One of the clients I work with, they do hackathons for their, they've got computer engineers and all that sort of stuff working in their company to produce the product that they sell, which is also AI based, but they have hackathons for their clients, for their staff, and they, set a challenge, and it's all Python and stuff like that. But I'm just like,
yeah. What skills you learn in this industry?
well, it's obviously like you need the technical skills, the software skills. You need to know how to use a computer as a basic, right? So, but my husband, he's an engineer, so he goes out and fixes stuff. So he's not really on a computer all the time. So when I show him how to animate something, he's like, oh, I don't know how to do that, because he's more of a hands-on, go outside, that's his job, not really on a computer nearly 365 days a year. Whereas, like you say, I could work with my eyes closed because that's all I do. So it's computer skills, technical skills, software skills, and then if you really want to be a motion graphics artist, you're going to be needing to learn After Effects, Premiere Pro. And then if you want to go into 3D animation, it's like there's Blender, there's Cinema 4D, there's plugins for After Effects like Trapcode and Element 3D and all these things. There's so much to learn. So it's also about upskilling, keep learning. Continuous learning is a massive, massive thing in this industry, because again, if you're not learning it, you're going to get left behind.
Who was your mentor in this industry?
I have had a mentor right at the beginning, and he was my manager in the first job I had out of university. And I always think of him as being my mentor, and he has shaped me in my career, and I feel like I am the person I am today in motion graphics and animation because of how he taught me as a manager. So when I left uni, I got a job straight away in a company called S&P Global. That's the name of it now, but back then it was called McGraw-Hill Financial. So it's had a rebrand since I've left. But I was there for 2 years. My manager's name was Adriano, and he was a senior motion graphics designer. So I came on board as a junior, and it was his task to train me up into animation and to do all of the financial animation that that company needed. And he just did such a good job. I feel like he was an incredible mentor. He was very talented. He had another team member there, Laura, who was also mega talented. And they both took me under their wing to teach me what it was like to work in a good job, in a good company, and to produce good quality work. So it wasn't stressful. There was respect. There was good feedback given all the time. And it was always like, how are you feeling? Are you doing okay? How can we help you? Do you want to go on a training course? Do you want to learn this? Do you want to learn that? And then let's spend a day as a team doing a film or something. So, we'd go off on a away day, and we'd, as a team, produce a film, like a little short film.
Okay.
So it was kind of like bonding the team to make us work together and think creatively and just do something that was creative, but not motion graphics. And I always respect that start that I had. I feel like I was very lucky to get that job, have the right team around me, and that has made me work hard right up until this day. And I still think of that.
When you had the training, what do you struggle with?
Remembering.
Yeah, you remember where is that tool?
Yeah. It's kind of like I'll go on a training course. I'll be shown an amazing technique on how to transform something into something else. And I'll be like, oh, wow, that's amazing. That's faster than the process that I knew before. I'm going to remember that. And then I go away, I work on a project that doesn't require that technique, and I forget about it.
Oh, yeah.
And then 2 projects later, I'm like, oh, I can use that new technique, but I've completely forgotten how to use it. But normally they give you, back then it was like you write notes or they give you a reference or something. So I was like, go back through my notes to realize what steps I'd written down to then be able to do that.
A few years back, I was working to build my CV, and I took a course at Barnsley College of graphic design. I didn't work in Illustrator before. We have one assignment to draw an environment, and I built a park with buildings around and a meteorite in the middle.
Do you still have a copy of that project?
Yes.
Yeah.
The thing is, in the end of the course, we're supposed to do an animation.
Oh.
I didn't know you can do animation with Illustrator.
Yeah, okay.
Well, with Illustrator, I don't know, or Photoshop I did. I don't remember exactly. But I use exactly that scene, what I draw, to make the animation.
Yeah.
Because it was a meteorite on the ground.
Yeah.
What the animation was. How the meteorite arrived there.
Yeah.
And everyone goes, wow, how did you do that?
Yeah. that you would have probably done that in Photoshop, like, because you can animate in Photoshop.
Yeah, I think it was in Photoshop, but the scene was in Illustrator. Yeah.
Because Photoshop has the timeline, and I do remember, like, way back in the day, like playing with timelines on Photoshop before I knew After Effects, like before I went to uni and everything. Just playing around with Photoshop, and it's like, look at this little animation, and it's like all your friends are like, oh my god, how did you do that? And you're like, like keeping the secret to yourself. Whereas now it's all about sharing that knowledge, like rather than keeping it to yourself and being like, only I should know this.
Yeah, but let's tell the truth. If you open After Effects, you are, what is this?
There is a lot of buttons in After Effects, right? It's like a lot of windows, a lot of toolbars. And if you're inexperienced and you open that up for the very first time, you're going to be like, what on earth? Like, where do I even start? What button do I start to get me a video?
I did a very nice intro on the Romanian podcast with Illustrator. But let's say I did basically the logo, and after that, you know when you are doing the lines around the logo.
Yeah.
But here it was on every element.
Yeah.
It was made after a tutorial.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I still use tutorials, and I've been, this is my career. I still use tutorials to this day for things I don't know how to do.
Yes. There are even tiny bits which you don't know exactly how to do it.
Exactly.
Maybe even if you see someone doing it, maybe you come with your idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that happens.
Yeah, it does. And that's how you like get inspiration as well.
Yes. What project changed your view on the animation after you did the project?
I'm going to go back to when I was working at McGraw-Hill Financial with Adriano, and I got given a project which became a series of videos. And this video series was called What is a Rating? So it was all to do with business ratings, financial ratings given to businesses. So you could give a business rating like an A or an A plus or an A plus plus. And it was all about the financial stability of the business. And it changed my view on motion graphics, because although I was a junior at the time, obviously I've done 3 years at uni, it was going to be an external video that was going to sit on their YouTube page. I was a junior straight out of uni producing this video that they were going to sign off and say, okay, it's out in the world, and it needed to be professional. And I had imposter syndrome, and I was like, am I good enough? Am I creating something that's good enough for this company to show on their YouTube? I definitely had imposter syndrome. So working through this project, I was guided by Ad. We designed it, we storyboarded the whole thing. So we planned out each section before we animated it, showed the client. Client would then sign off on that bit first. And then it was like right into animation. And there were some bits in that which I'd had no idea how to animate, but we had decided this is what's going to happen. We told the client it's going to appear like this. This is what's going to happen, and then it's going to disappear. And I hadn't figured out how to do that yet. So it was like, say, yeah, we're going to do it, figure it out afterwards. So learning the whole process to create that series of videos that went external, that changed my career, my thoughts about motion graphics, and it improved my confidence, having the imposter syndrome. It's like, okay, I am good enough because the client likes the project. They've signed it off. I've had help and mentor and guideship from my colleagues, and now it's external. It's on their YouTube page, and I created that as a junior designer. They trusted me. They trusted me with that project. So it was one of those sorts of, it made you feel good by being trusted by the big brand.
You get some awards.
I have had awards for projects that have been like recruitment campaigns. So I've been part of a team an internal team where, they have graphic designers, they would design the stills and then send it to me, the assets, and then I would take that into animation. And then those animations would become paid advertisements. So like on digital advertisements, on web pages, and you get like those little banners down the side or at the top. So we created animated banners as paid advertisements, and the entire team, including myself, we won a graphic design and animation award for that recruitment campaign, because it wasn't just one video. It was like there was a banner and then there was another banner and it was sized slightly differently, and then there was a square video and a landscape video and then also a printed leaflet. So it was a campaign that basically got the award as well. So yeah, that was really, really fun. And to be acknowledged like that, again, it reduces that imposter syndrome to be like, I'm actually doing stuff right.
Yes.
So yeah.
People recognize it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember when we've been on BBE, Gold Circle, and I took that cube and tell everyone about my win.
Yes.
I told exactly what happened and I felt like an imposter.
Yeah.
I lied with a thing because I said about a video. With a video, I earned £10.
Yes, it was like monetization.
But it was $10.
Yeah.
That was the single lie. I feel so nervous. It's like I'm lying.
Even though I've overcome some feelings of imposter syndrome, I still have it. Like when I have a client come to me that I've maybe never worked with before, I'm like, oh, am I good enough for this client? Are they, But I think what reassures me is I always say to myself, I am the expert in this field. I am the expert in animation. They are coming to me for this service. And often they might be a designer, they might be a creative director. Sometimes they're not even in the creative industry. They just know that they want a promotional video for their business. And they've come to me as the expert. So I'd just say that for anyone who has imposter syndrome, think about your business and what you do. You know everything about your business inside and out. You are the expert in that business, and believe it. And that's what kind of gets me through thinking, oh, I'm an imposter, but I'm not. I know everything about what I do.
You already get an award. I think I need to get an award as well to feel I'm not really an imposter.
But you still know your podcast business inside and out, don't you? You know everything you need to do podcasting. So
I'm still learning.
You still learn. Well, I'm still learning, but you still if someone comes to you for a podcast, you're like, I know how to do that. You can do a podcast.
I mean, a lot of people who ask me my advice.
I bet they do, because podcasts are so popular right now.
Yeah.
So you are an expert in the field of podcasts because you produce a podcast.
Yeah, true. I've been to an event. I was invited to that event because of the podcast, and I'm doing vlogs as well in the process. It was a Romanian wedding festival to a very posh place.
Right.
I was presented by the person, the best vlogger. First time I said, I'm joking. But I realized if I deflect what she's saying, I'm calling her a liar.
Right, okay, yeah.
And I'm making her to look bad because I'm saying it's not true. To be humble is not really good.
Oh.
I'll requote some Romanian saying, if you let your head down, the sword is not going to cut your head.
Right.
But the people from Ottoman Empire in that period when the saying was out, the head which is down worth to be cut.
Yeah. Beheading, right? Yeah.
Don't be humble too much.
I find it quite difficult in BBE, the way like they teach you to be proud of your achievements and shout about them, because I'm not really that type of person. Like I will advertise it occasionally, but I would say I'm quite humble. Like I'm happy to just sit here and be like, and not even know I mentioned that I've got an award. So it is difficult. It is difficult to big yourself up.
Yes, but you need to take the wins.
But you do,
yeah.
And that's important. But that's what BBE has taught me, to get out there, to shout about it. Whereas before, I was just like, I've won an award. And now I'm like, look at this, everybody. Like, I'm so proud. Like, I'm shouting from the rooftops, but I was not that person before.
I was thinking to print a YouTube button to put on the wall and to wait for the actual...
The actual... I like that.
I said to project it. I will get the button, but like to
manifest it.
To manifest it. I had a guest in a Romanian podcast. She wrote a check years back when she's going to have 40. She's going to have £1 million.
Oh, okay.
And in that moment, when we filmed, she had 960,000.
So she's very close.
Yeah. Because she reads that book, The Secret.
Okay. I'm not reading
I have the
many
book,
books,
but I didn't read it.
Okay.
Even she showed me the check. Look, I wrote this.
Wow.
One. And I said, the interesting thing is, I was thinking the same at 40 to have £1 million.
Yeah. Okay.
I have 2 years to do that.
I'm like, never say never.
Yeah.
If you manifest, do you manifest? Are you a believer in manifestation?
I feel if you think about it, to manifest it, basically, it happens.
Yeah. I feel like if you think about it enough and you want it enough, you can make it happen.
Yeah.
Like that, I believe that.
Yeah, I think since I joined the BBE, my mindset's changed a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Before I joined BBE, I never had any form of coaching, like business coaching, and anything like that. I was really skeptical about that sort of stuff. And I actually joined with Kim, and Kim's been to a lot of similar things, and she kind of said, come along, see what it's like. And I said, okay, I'll give it a go. And then I was like, wow, this is incredible. Like, it's teaching me stuff that I didn't know about business. And it's, the things that I've put into place from learning at BBE works.
Yes.
And it is, it is teaching you to go out and get it, and only you have yourself to blame if you don't, and all that sort of stuff. So
the strangest thing is, when I booked this space where we film now, I don't look on the map, and we are near to BBE.
It's literally like over there, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
I can go and ask for a coffee.
Just pop in there. They're probably doing something.
Yeah, possible.
Yeah.
The thing is, everything is a bit hard to change because I feel it's deep right in our DNA. It's taking a bit of time, but we can do it.
We can do it.
Yes.
It's funny that I've got, like, now, we go to BBE and they're a form of business coach. When I was growing up as a kid, I could have chosen to study business studies, but I was like, well, business studies, who wants to do that? Like, really boring and dull and all that sort of stuff. And I'm like, I don't want to learn about business. I don't want to do maths. I don't want to do anything like that. And now I run my own business, and I'm like, I probably could have learned some stuff like from doing that as a kid. And now I've got a business coach, and I'm like, okay, it works. And it's showing me how to do things that I would never have thought of.
The thing is, in high school, I have some classes of business.
You did some, yeah.
Marketing, accounting, but I don't know anything from it.
Okay.
I mean, I was quite young.
That's interesting, yeah.
And I don't remember anything from even the part of the marketing what we learned in high school.
Okay.
Doesn't apply.
So it wasn't even relevant.
Yes.
Wow. Maybe it's good that I didn't do it then.
Yes.
Because I studied art, and that's now what I do, right? So.
Yes. I think school it's more to teach you the basic.
Yeah.
After that, you need to have a period of cool down to live your life a bit like young. And after that, you can continue the study, because I know a lot of people of my age, they're doing uni now.
Yeah, I know a lot of older people who are studying at uni.
And now they really know what they want to do.
Yes. Because back then you didn't, right? And
No,
you just...
and you want to have fun because you're young.
And everything's forced upon you at school, and that's why kids don't want to go to school, because they are told to do something. And it's not until you're an adult where you really learn what you love.
Yes.
And I know, I even considered going back to uni a couple of years ago because I love archaeology and history, and I wanted to go back to study archaeology. And it wasn't until I started looking through all the courses and then the pricing, and I was like, I can't do a degree, pay a mortgage off, do my job all at the same time.
Yeah.
So now, while I still do animation and that is my main job, my hobby is metal detecting, and I do amateur archaeology as well. So I'm still involved in the archaeology without having to pay the really expensive fees to do it at uni. So that's great.
Yeah. I want to ask you if you can give yourself an advice when you've been young. What advice can be that?
I was, in my first job out of uni, I was made redundant within 2 years. At the time, I remember it feeling like the end of the world. It was my job, it was my career. I was being made redundant. Like, a few people in the company was being made redundant. So it wasn't a thing against me or the team. It was like a company thing that was just happening. They were reorganizing, restructuring. I remember being put in the position where I was told there was being redundancies made, and I was like, okay, it's probably going to be me. And I just remember crying night after night, thinking I'm going to lose my job. I loved that job. I had a really great team. The people, they just made the job amazing. And I did get made redundant. They gave me the redundancy. I went through the whole process thinking, how am I going to move on? What does this mean? I'm being made redundant. I'm so young, and oh my God, it just felt like the end of the world. But looking back on that, I think that what an experience to have at such a young age and at early stage in my career, because now it's taught me that it wasn't the end of the world. It wasn't, I was able to go on and get another job. It taught me resilience. It taught me to get through a hard situation, and I was okay at the end of it. I still was able to pay my bills. I still was able to do everything. I was quite lucky that I was able to just power on and continue to, fight for my career. So looking back, I would say to myself, don't worry about it too much. Don't stress about it too much, because you're going to be okay. And experiencing that redundancy, it's going to make you stronger. That's what I would say to myself. So
thank you for this, because now I'm thinking about my past. Because in 2009, 2008, I think it was 2 years after I finished high school, I worked for 3 months as a security guard. And I did the training in those 3 months. And I was hired after that for an electronics store where I was testing and delivering the stock for the customer. And I lost the job. And I went back to the security. But now if I'm thinking about it, it's supposed something to experience. Because it took me a long time to get another job. Actually, I found out the newspaper job.
There you go.
But after 2 years.
Okay, but it still got you there, didn't it? You might have never got to that newspaper job if you hadn't experienced that.
They asked me if I can go for 2 weeks to see if I can handle the job. And because I was working on a security job, I had to work 36-48 2 days. And basically I was able to test myself, and they loved me. And
good.
I experienced a lot of things there, but still I was with the imposter syndrome.
Yeah. I feel like once you have the imposter syndrome, it never fully leaves. You can work around it, and you can have amazing experiences which make you think, I'm not an imposter, but still there will be situations you come across in your work, in your business life, in your home life, and you'll be like, a little bit of imposter syndrome there.
I did a lot of mistakes on the newspaper because I was rushing work.
Yeah.
But it wasn't only my mistake because it was a second person who was supposed to check.
Reviewing,
Yeah, and-
so when that gets missed, you're like,
I put the wrong picture of Mayor.
that's quite a big mistake.
Yes.
But then if it goes to print and the reviewer has let it go through as well.
At least they didn't make a big thing from it. Even the mayor laughed.
Well, that's
that.
good. You know he's a good mayor then. Like, he can handle a joke.
He was.
Good. Yeah.
I did an expo, which I was proud of. With my editor-in-chief help, I did some photoshops
Okay.
of things from the city, even with the mayor. He was going with the horse, with a chariot, like a Roman chariot.
Yeah, okay.
He actually went with one, but I put a lot of potholes in the road.
Yeah.
And I had the text box saying, "Where is the mayor? Why he didn't fix the road?"
Fix them. Yeah.
He laughed about that.
I bet he did. I like that though. That's humour. You've got to have good humour in that sort of position. Yeah. Because
Yes.
you're gonna be made fun of.
It was like a caricature, but in Photoshop.
Yeah, I guess what I'm kind of imagining, like a cartoony caricature.
No,
type thing.
actually,
But
photos.
the photo, yeah.
I just cut them and put them there.
Edited
They
in.
look like from there. It was 2010. They called me the best graphic designer in the city and said, "That's possible."
That is possible.
It is possible because I didn't know anyone
Okay, that did that.
doing.
Yeah.
Now there are.
Now there's loads of people.
Yeah, now there are. Even other newspapers ask me, "Can you do this for me?"
Oh wow! So you were like headhunted to do graphic design,
Yes,
Photoshop design.
yes.
That's good. It's nice to be headhunted though. So did you still experience imposter syndrome when the other newspapers were asking you to do the stuff for them?
No. What is your Instagram?
If anybody's interested in following me on Instagram to see my metal detecting, it's at MEM Love Old Stuff.
Okay.
So very
nice.
unique name. It's not just like Emma Metal Detecting or something like that. It's Love Old Stuff. And check me out if you're into history and all that sort of stuff. Always posting because I'm super passionate about it. So yeah.
But actually, I want to see your work.
So I do have an Instagram. I don't really post a lot on it. Probably if you want to get a good diverse idea of the work I do, it's probably best to head to my website because I've got a big portfolio. I've got a show reel.
What is your website?
So my website is literally just my name. So it's www.emmayouell.com. So EMMAYOUELL.com.
Maybe I will get some inspiration. I want to do some good intros on my podcast.
Yeah, get some inspiration.
Yeah. To edit the podcast is taking less than to edit that intro.
Yeah, animation does take time. And, sometimes I have to reiterate that to my clients because they're so used to AI producing stuff like that. And then for me to say, oh, it's going to take 2 days to make an animation, like a 10-second animation in 2 days. They're like, oh, why does it take so long? Like, because I'm making it by hand, because I'm doing it in, myself, and sometimes animation can take far longer than that. I've worked on projects for weeks to create a draft, get sign off and get published. Some big projects can take 4 weeks.
Yeah. Does happen when something is not working properly.
Yeah. Like
for me, happens
all the time. Loads of stuff can go wrong. Like software can crash, computer crash.
years back.
Yeah.
It happened too often.
It's got better now, and I've got because I know my computer systems, I've got way more powerful machine to do the animations that I need to do. So there's less crashing. But every now and then, it's like if I'm working on a particularly large animation with loads and loads of assets, loads of layers, particularly maybe like a really large Photoshop file they want me to bring in and animate, can take a long time.
Do you have any advice for people who want to get in animation industry?
Go out and learn tutorials and learn the software and ask questions. Like if you go to events and ask questions, and that's how you're gonna learn, by asking questions as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it is nice to know someone who is doing it.
Yeah.
I found it more interesting because they have some insights what from tutorials you are not able to take.
No, but just reaching out. So like on Instagram, if you follow a person that inspires you, drop them a message, commenting on their posts, like, or if they've got an email address, like drop them a question, because, you know, a lot of the good people will respond to that. If it's a genuine question about animation, good people are always happy to help out.
Yeah, true. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And sharing with me a gyro.
It's been really fun and it was delicious.
Yes. Yeah, it's nice here in Chelmsford. I think it's where our business career started.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Somehow.
Yeah, the journey to improvement.
Yeah.